Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is a Black Manga Critic here. We are back with another stream today. Earlier today, I had part 23 of the Kingdom Readathon, y'all. Part 23 of the Kingdom Readathon. That was pretty dope. Lot of hype stuff there. Just finished probably one of the best arcs. Just like of any like manga that I've read, I think, honestly. Like if I had to really think about it, incredible arc, just really well handled. There's always a few things that you would think like, oh, this might have been handled better, but they were really like little things that like clearly, like, at least to me, they don't ruin the arc or anything like that. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, this is a terrible arc because this little thing happened. But no arc is ever like perfect. Not everything happens in exactly the way that like you want it, especially, or anyone else wants it. So it's whatever. But yeah. So welcome to, this is like probably the first time I'm ever gonna have like I've ever had like a Hunter x Hunter discussion on this channel. Besides like when I do the reviews and all that stuff and everything like that. But I really felt like I wanted to have this convo just because like there's been so much that Tagadashi has given us. I just felt like, yo, like we got to have a conversation about Hunter x Hunter. Whether or not people come through, like that's not here nor there. There are things that I definitely want to talk about, but you know what I mean? Like, if people come through, great. And they want to have a discussion about Hunter x Hunter and everything like that, that's cool. If people don't come through, like I'm not gonna like go cry in a corner or anything like that. I mean, like, it's a channel. I have discussions all the time where it's just me, shooting a breeze about stuff. So like, again, if people come through, it's awesome. If people don't come through in terms of like people, coming into the stream and talk with us and everything like that, that's whatever. That's whatever. It's not a big deal. So I'm just trying to think of like certain things that I know I definitely want to talk about, stuff that I've been thinking about in terms of Hunter x Hunter for quite some time now. I've had a lot of ideas since at the beginning of this channel. When I started this channel, actually, probably the first couple of videos that I made were just like analyses of like the first 2 volumes of Hunter x Hunter. They were like pretty long videos. They were like 20-something minutes, like almost close to 30 minutes, whatever. And then when I edited them down, they were like 20-something. They were like 24 minutes, 25 minutes, something, 25 minutes, something like that. So they were substantially like they were long videos. In that sense. But I mean, I think like that's how much I love this series and how much I wanted to talk about something, because I felt like Hunter x Hunter is one of those series that does so much as a shonen. Some people conceive of it as a seinen, but I think Hunter x Hunter just does like a ton. It just does a ton. So what I'm trying to think of like what I want to talk about first. Maybe just like discussion topics. Pick certain things up in terms of either the recent stuff that happened, or maybe we'll talk about like just some things that I've been just some general things that I've been thinking about. I guess like if I wanted to start on something that I definitely want to talk about, I feel like something that I kind of I quickly mentioned in the sort of tail end of my review of chapter 380, right? The hiatus chapter, or at least like the latest hiatus chapter, was whatchamacallit. It was thinking about like the 4 sort of like, the kind of like protagonists, like a protagonist. Even though I don't think Leorio is really a protagonist, like I think it's sort of like he was presented as one, but it kind of just Tagashi, it got away from Tagashi a bit. You know what I mean? Like with Yu Yu Hakusho, all 4 of those of the central characters, right? Yusuke, Hiei, Kurama, and Kuwabara, like you follow them. You know what I mean? Like I know I'm current on Hunter x Hunter. I'm definitely current on Hunter x Hunter. Like, yes, definitely. If y'all want to come through to the stream and you want to talk some Hunter x Hunter, like I have no problem, like dropping the Hangouts link in the live chat. If you want me to do that, that's fine. If you're chill with just like talking, doing it through the live chat, that's also fine. I have no problem with that. But like, yeah, I would say, I think the thing with Hunter x Hunter is like you kind of really have to treat it like you got to treat it like a book. And I think Hunter x Hunter is like a series, at least in the tail end, like the sort of like with the Chimera stuff, and especially the Succession arc like stuff. It's like Dark Continent like stuff. Like you really have to like reread things. Like it's not to say that you can't understand particular things when you first read them. I think for me, doing these live reactions and then doing like little sort of quick reviews after them, kind of forces me to pay attention generally. So like in certain ways. So like for me, like, if I'm reading like a Nen ability, then like I really have to like, I don't want to just be like, okay, I'm doing a live reaction and I'm reading this text, but I have no idea what the text is like I'm saying to me. You know what I mean? Like that's weird. That doesn't make a lot of sense. If you're just like, blah, 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 and you read this whole thing and you're like, I don't get what just happened. It's like for me, like, I really gotta like keep my mind sharp when I'm reading Hunter x Hunter. And I kind of like that because it's kind of similar stuff to what you have to do when you're reading like fantasy text, sci-fi text, stuff like that. Because usually, with those types of text, and even like certain comics, there are always stuff like that. Yeah. The fan translation always makes things like sort of super extra. There's always like a little extra stuff that's unnecessary. And part of it is because like generally at least from what I noticed, right, when people write sort of like in English, and especially when it's something that like they're trying to sort of explain, they always use more words than necessary. Like, and this is me included. I'm not like exempt from this. Like, this is something like when I'm in conversation, especially, I always use more words than I need. But like when I'm writing, like when I'm doing something like that, like I've like gotten like, to a place where like I'm really good at noticing whether these words are necessary or not, whether they get in the way of clarity. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you could add like adverbs, certain types of words like that just get in the way. They don't really help much in terms of the explanation of certain things. So I think with like fan translations, you tend to get like a lot of like either words that are super multisyllabic, you know what I mean, stuff like that. That just aren't necessary when you could just make them particularly like simple, and you get the same idea. You know what I mean? So that's why I think like professional translators like think about all these things in a certain way. You know what I mean? Yeah, I wouldn't say it was flawless. Like if you want to talk about that first, like I still want to talk about how I feel about the characters in Hunter x Hunter, the four sort of like core characters, if you want to call them that, and let's say in comparison to like the characters in Yu Yu Hakusho, because I feel like Leorio was sort of presented as that character, and then Hisoka took his place. But that's how I feel about that. But I'm gonna move on to I'm gonna talk about that a little bit in terms of I guess like with this question that you've like sort of brought up in terms of the Hunter x Hunter anime and the fact that it's not flawless. Because for me, like I personally enjoy Yu Yu Hakusho more in terms of the anime than I do Hunter x Hunter. Even though I adore Hunter x Hunter, both the '99 version and the 2011 version, I adore both of those things. But when it comes to the anime, like I but when it comes to like the Hunter x Hunter like 2011, because that's generally what we usually talk about. Most people don't talk about 99 that much anymore, unless you like kind of grew up with that and you watched that, or at some point you came into Hunter x Hunter and you started with a 99 version and then moved on to the OVAs and then moved on to the Hunter x Hunter 2011 version. Right. So which is basically what I did. Like I started with the 99 version before the 2011 version came out. And then I was tracking the OVAs, the OVAs, and then when the 2011 version came out, like I started watching that, and I didn't even watch that when it came out. I watched it maybe like a year sort of after like it had come out. So I was like watching the Chimera Ant stuff. Like I was waiting for the Chimera Ant stuff to be animated. Like I had already read the Chimera Ant stuff, like, and that like fan translation disaster and the art disaster and all that was. But in terms of the anime, I don't think it's flawless by any means. I think it's very, very good. I think the way that things are animated is, and Madhouse does a great job of like keeping certain things particularly simplistic so that the animation is much more smooth. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you might have an anime like Fate Zero, which Fate Zero or Fate Stay Night or something like that, Unlimited Blade Works. Animes like that clearly have a massive budget behind them. and something like Hunter x Hunter 2011, which might have like a decent budget behind it, but not like in the same sort of way, or even like the same effort in terms of like, not effort, but like the same like sort of team, you know, in this in the sheer size of it and the sheer number of people that are working on that. You know what I mean? So for me, I think the animation really, really does help Hunter x Hunter 2011 because certain things are animated particularly well. I would say like one instance that I think is animated extremely well, like for an example, is the moment when Killua and Gon are tracking Machi and Nobunaga, and when they get caught, right? When Finks calls Nobunaga, and Nobunaga is like, oh, they're over there, and he like turns his eye, and the animation just like zoom and like sort of both zooms in and stretches out both of their eyes and faces and like distorts it in a way, and it's really cool. It's just really, really, really a great sort of moment. And there's a little thing that for me, like me and others like have noticed, is that when Gon tries to run away, you see this like sort of poof of like dust or whatever. But like when Killua tries to run away, there's no poof of dust or anything like that. And that's just because like, you know, we know that like Killua's footsteps are distinctly quiet. And Gon's aren't. Gon is just like, mah, 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 mah. He's gonna make as much noise as possible when he's moving. You know, because that's not what he never necessarily does. He hasn't worked on that necessarily. It's the same way that Killua does it. Had to have done as an assassin, right? So stuff like that is like really, really nice, and it's really neat. I like that stuff. You know what I mean? But like when you think, right, like that's like detail. You know, and that's like, and it's like a simple thing. It's not like, it doesn't take a ton of work to like animate that. But it's not, right. But like, again, with animation, it's not about like, oh, how many flashy colors can you include in this particular scene when the swords are clashing, right? It's like, what are you doing with particular insertion, insertions of animated content? You know, how does that play into the story and stuff like that? That's how I feel about it. You know, like that's cool stuff. What's going on, Aura? What's going on, Key, Candyman, Dandy Zora? What is up? What is up, all y'all? All right, so it's like stuff like that, you know, that I think is really, really dope. You know, and I think like if we're talking about, let's say, something like certain flaws in terms of the anime, again, I feel like in some ways, like there were certain things about the 99 version that I really liked, that I wish that the 2011 version might have included. But I understand that the 2011 version tried to be as close and true to the manga as possible. But I feel like the 99 version did some things that were really cool. Like there was a point in the 99 version in the Hunter exam, there was like, you know, there were like these extra bits that I thought were awesome. Like there was like this whole treasure hunting sort of part in the 99 version that I thought added like some really interesting things to the story, and that made us think about even more so about the different types of things that you might have to do as a hunter, as opposed to the hunter exam in the 2011 version, which is really just sort of like, okay, if you're really strong and you have like a lot of and you're, you know, physically pretty skilled, like generally you should be fine. It shouldn't be much of an issue for you to get past this exam. You know what I mean? Generally, like this exam was just like a lot of it was like physical endurance. Are you strong? Are you more capable physically in certain ways? You know, and certain things like that. Like that's basically like, at least for me, what the 2011 exam was sort of like. 99 version, you had a lot more like, can you work as a team? Can you work in groups? Can you you know, do certain things? And that's not to say that the 2011 version didn't have that. But I think that like in the 2011 version, you sort of had more of a thing where like, even then, even in the sort of teamwork, right, with Tonpa and Leorio and Kurapika and Killua and Gon, even in that sort of team, a lot of that has to do with like strength and stuff like that. It wasn't necessarily too much about like, okay, how smart are you and stuff like that. Like there's a bit there, but I think the 99 version did that a bit better, right? Like they had a whole sort of like extra kind of part of the exam that really was about like, can you work with people? Can you get people on your side? Can you hunt for treasure? Can you find certain things? Can you like the ingenuity, I think, was there a bit more. And in some ways, like there was a heart to the 99 version that I can't really quite like explain or put like into sort of words, but you know, there were just like little moments. You know, they're just little moments. Like I feel like the 99 version did. Remember right when Gon's like just like super down about getting knocked out by his, you know, getting like knocked down by Hisoka, you know what I mean? Or really just knocked out by Hisoka. And then that conversation with Kurapika, like I feel like the 99 version did that a lot better in terms of the emotion of it, the emotional weight that held. And the 2011 version is just kind of, it kind of makes it like uplifting in a weird kind of way, in a sense that it's like like at least for me, I don't feel like Gon, like I don't feel, but Gon is sort of feeling. You know what I mean? Like it's not as dark, exactly right. Like the 99 version had a slightly darker feel to me. You know, and like when and his, like, and for me, like I've said this in like other like instances, like I like the 99 version of Hisoka more than I like the 2011 version of Hisoka. I understand why people love the 2011 version in terms of the voice acting and stuff like that. But I feel like the 99 version is far more creepy. Like he just has that creep factor for me. And the 2011 version doesn't really have the creep factor for me. Right? Like there's a charisma there that's like it's more charismatic than creepy. And with the 99 version, I feel like it's more creepy than charismatic. It's sort of like there's like a real like uncomfortable feel that you get from the 99 version of Hisoka that, like, at least for me, I don't get that from the 2011 version of Hisoka. Like I don't feel uncomfortable. I just kind of, you know, sometimes I'm laughing, sometimes like, you know, he's you know, kind of cool. Sometimes like he's just like super dope, and in terms of design, and the voice acting is great, but like it's not as dark for me with Hisoka in the 2011 version. The 99 version just seems way darker to me, at least for me, and way more creepy. The versatile voice actor does a phenomenal job with that. I guess like there are some other things like in terms of like the 2011 in terms of the 2011 anime, like there are some things that I really do like about it. I think that like one thing that it does extremely well is sort of like the portrayal of Nen. I thought that was like done like far better. Although what I will say is that one thing I really liked about the 99 version is that like when people like, you know, had like aura, right when you saw the aura, it was like all like, it was like colored, like everyone had like a particular color to their aura, regardless of if they were using you know, any of the four principles or their Hatsu. It didn't matter, right? Normally what happens is like in the 2011 version is that like when someone's using their Hatsu, then you see a particular like color or something like that sort of take shape in their sort of become visible in their aura. But like the 99 version, it's like always, it's like Gon is always sort of like has this like orange kind of aura like around him and everything like that. You know what I mean? Kurapika sort of always has this purple sort of tinge to his aura and everything like that. And I thought that was really dope and cool. And I like that. I thought that was cool. Like it gave like the aesthetic was interesting in that way. And I don't know, it kind of gave like it's definitely an old school kind of thing to do. It's like, oh, like they have this aura and now it's colored and everything like that. You know? But I do think that was one thing that I liked about the 99 version that I thought could have stayed in the in 2011 version, but I do understand why they took that out, because it makes more sense to say that, like, you know, Nen, the idea of like aura is a very universal thing, so it makes sense to make sure that you know, that is always kind of just like a white gray kind of color, right? In that sense, I get it. You know, so I think, what I also really like is, and in some ways, this is just because Hunter x Hunter 2011 has adapted more. But even then, I think that like the 2011 version just does a greater job with like the sort of fluidity of aura and stuff like that. I think it just does a better job, right? When aura needs to be jagged and stuff like that. I think the 2011 version does a wonderful job with that. And like the 99 version is kind of like everything's kind of like more. It's kind of it's like aura can look a bit goofy at times when the 99 version. The colors are cool, but like sometimes it can be a bit goofy in certain ways. And I think with the 2011 version, you get a dynamic sort of aesthetic when it comes to the aura within the 2011 version. Again, and okay. So another thing that I think, um, at least for me, I know that people have like, and I know there've been videos and stuff like that that have been made on the way that like right, like Kite is introduced in the Chimera Ant arc in the 2011 version, and in the 99 version, like they go with the manga and they start with I mean, they always call him Kaito, right? They always call him like Kaito in the in Japanese, and like people, a lot of people call him Kite. But I'm gonna in like the sort of like, I guess, Romanized or whatever you want to call it, like not Roman, but like English sort of like translation. I'm gonna go with Kaito because I like Kaito. I like that. I like that. Or Kite or whatever. But I'm gonna go with Kaito because I like the sound of that, and that's generally what they call him. So I'm gonna go with Kaito. But I like uh the way the 99 version does it. Like I think that was something that wasn't particularly necessary. Like it I could understand, like, rationalizing moving that, but I don't think it was a necessary move. Like I think, like, if they showed Kaito at the beginning and they sort of did that and maybe like, sorry, there's like a little fruit fly, and like if they did that in the maybe like the a fifth of the episode, or even a sixth of the episode, right? Of the episode's time, I think that would have been fine, right? Like a fifth of the episode's time, right? Or a sixth, you know, that would have been fine, right? That would have been like what, like 3 minutes, something like that. You know what I mean? Maybe a little bit over that. That would have been fine if you just talked about Kaito. If they had that interaction. I don't understand why take that out. I was trying to sort of confused in that sense. And for me, like the manga in the 99 version, like there's a bit more heart there. There's a bit more, for me, like it makes more sense as to why Gon really, really wants to become a hunter. And the fact that he's been introduced to someone who is a hunter, and that's like, it's not just that his dad is an inspiration, but it's that, like, and of course it's like there's very much like a lot of internal motivation. But I think that Kaito acts as a great external motivation for Gon. That's how I feel about it. And I feel like when you take that out, it kind of like like it's one of the reasons why I think people have such an issue with sort of the beginning of Hunter x Hunter, and why it's so why they feel like it's so rinky dink. And I understand that people sort of explain that, oh, well, that's kind of the point of Hunter x Hunter, but I'm like, not really, because like even when you're reading the manga and stuff like that, it doesn't feel rinky dink at all. At least for me, it doesn't feel rinky dink. It just feels like, okay, this is like Togashi is trying to move past the sort of the beginning stages of Gon's journey as almost as quickly as quickly as possible. That's how it feels. Like the manga's pacing to me is very good, because you get to the hunter exam very quickly. But I think that, like, in terms of like, but right, even with the Kaito stuff in the beginning of the manga, so I didn't really get why like take that out. I thought like it just I don't know, like I get like in some ways like Kaito like has a bit more, like you learn a bit more about him in the Chimera Ant arc, and that's awesome. But like you could still have that connection between Gon and Kaito in the beginning, and it still works. And if anything, it works even better. That's how I feel about that. What does Hunter x Hunter have to offer other manga writers to you? Ooh, it's tough, because I think that like for me, I I think the one thing that Hunter x Hunter and Tagashi do so well, like extremely well, and I've talked about this in like a lot of the chapters that we've recently gotten. The thing that I think is so awesome is that he is genuinely tackling real world issues. Like there are some manga that might like try to do it a little bit, and they might try to sort of do like certain things that they might try to tackle those particular issues, but they don't do like but it doesn't feel not even genuine, but it doesn't feel like substantial. You know what I mean? It's like it's right. It's like, let's say like if Naruto's trying to deal with like with like um what's a good example? Kind of like Neji and Hinata and the whole branch family sort of thing, and then like and like clearly like, and like at least for me, like that's a critique of like just like family structures, certain family structures and things like that, traditional structures. maybe even like right, like even like indentured, like right, indentured servitude, things like that, right? Like those are that's a commentary on that. But like in the same way, like when Tagashi deals with a particular thing, he takes an arc, like the entire arc might be dedicated to dealing with one particular like massive thing that's an issue, and then within that he'll bring up things that are directly related to that sort of topic. So like let's say like if we look at you know, the Dark Continent or something like that, and what's a lot of the stuff that's going on now, like in a general sense, like Tagashi, like a lot of like in a really super general sense, at least for me, a lot of what Tagashi is talking about is like the, you know, exploration, boundaries, borders, country borders, things of that nature, right? And like right, and Candyman, like you know, no, not Candyman. Who was it? Who was it that asked me that? So Sophia bloodline, right? Like it's like Tagashi will take a massive thing, and he's consistent about talking about that particular thing. He's still talking about borders, he's still talking about countries, he's still talking about all these things. But then even right within the arc, he'll introduce something that is sort of like a microcosm, is sort of like a micro sort of cosm for that massive sort of conversation that he's trying to have. Look at the boat. Even the boat is like structured in the similar way that the general arc is sort of structured. It's still about exploring. It's still about being able to move the way you want to move. It's still about borders. It's still about limitations, right? So like, it's not just like, oh, here's this massive thing that he's talking about, but it's like, here's a smaller thing that he's inserted into the arc to make it a bit more clear, to make that general sort of like theme more clear. He's like, hey, if you didn't know I was talking about this before, here's this thing, here's the boat. You know what I mean? So stuff like that is like great. It's like really, really awesome writing. And I think other manga might try to do more sort of grandiose sort of conversations about these things. But I think what Tagashi does, and he does this consistently, is that he sort of, what's the word I'm sort of looking for? He sort of like condenses a particular thing, or like minimizes it in a particular way. Right? He makes a sort of smaller version of this larger theme that he's sort of trying to talk about. So that's how I feel about it. I think it's just like great stuff. And you see it consistently throughout like arcs. So what's my favorite arc for Hunter x Hunter? Oh, it's a Candyman. That's always a tough question. It's a tough question. You know, I'm gonna get to the whole Nen thing too, because I think Nen is phenomenal. But I also do agree with you, Key. And then like that, like sometimes it can be a little like, okay, here's just like a random thing that he's trying to like, you know, that he's sort of thrown in for whatever reason. You know what I mean? But I do think that like generally most of the time, his use of Nen is like phenomenal as a sort of like ability system. I think it's phenomenal. I don't know if I've ever seen anything that was like that better utilized than that. You know, but to get back to sort of like what my favorite arc is in terms of like Hunter x Hunter, that's so hard. Because if I think this arc, if Tagashi finished this arc, I feel like this would be my favorite arc. But for now, it kind of can't be because it's not finished. So if I had to pick a favorite arc that I thought like did a fantastic job in terms of certain things, that's tough. Because I always say, like, my go-to is always kind of Chimera. I think Chimera is just like really massively done. But like I'm trying to think. I also really like I think a lot of people don't like Greed Island, but I also really like Greed Island. I think there's like I think it's just like there are some things that are there too that are well done. But I will say if I had to pick my favorite arc, it could probably be Chimera. York New would be behind that, then Heaven's Arena. But I like York New is phenomenal. York New is phenomenal. But if I had to pick my favorite arc, I probably have to go with I have to go with Chimera. And I think like a lot of this is like a preference thing, right? It's not like, oh, I think this is the best done arc, because I think the Chimera Ant arc and the York New City arc are equally done really well. I think they just do different things in a phenomenal way. Hisoka versus Chrollo is incredible. Hisoka versus Chrollo is probably my favorite shonen battle ever. And that's saying something in manga form. I mean, when it's animated, it's going to be even more incredible. But I think that if I'm talking about the in manga, it is my favorite battle. Like, it's such an amazing battle, you know. And I think the reason why, like for me, like when I read the Viz translations for that stuff, like it was much better than like than the way that, like, so like let's say like scanlation sites like translated them, because like I think even the scanlation sites had trouble figuring out like what are they talking about here, da 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 da, stuff like that. Oh no, spoilers! Ah, hardcore weebu. I'm sorry. Oh no, that's what I said. Like, you gotta. That's why I said the manga and anime discussion. You know, you gotta be ready. You gotta be ready. All right. But just great stuff, man. Just great stuff. If I had to choose, man, if I had to, but like Chimera Anarch, and the reason for that is I think that, like, for me, the battle between I mean, every like all of the like really interesting battles are just phenomenal. They're just so well done, right? Because a lot of them aren't even about how well it's animated or how amazing the fight choreography is or anything like that, right? If we're looking at Netero versus Meterum, that entire battle is basically like a hyperbole of a dude with a fly swatter trying to kill a fly or an ant or whatever. You know what I mean? And like, but especially a fly, because like the reason why I say flies is because like flies are extremely irritating. It takes so much, like sometimes, especially if you're using a fly swatter, it takes so much just to try and be like, boom, just to kill them dead. It's hard, man. It's hard unless you got like incredible reflexes and like, you know, and like you can just hit them out the air like that. Like, good for you. You know, sometimes I can, but most of the time it's just like annoying. You know, usually what I do is I just take like a spray bottle filled with water, and then I spray the fly in the air, and it just, you know, and it soaks it until like it just drops. That's what I do. I don't use a fly swatter no more. But Netero was using a fly swatter, man. He's just like, his hands were like fly swatter. That's what he was doing, and it was not it wasn't working. It clearly was not working. Like, right, like there was no without a doubt, we knew that Netero was basically dead in that instance. We knew he was dead when he went into that. He was like, oh, this is your tomb. But like, yeah, it's really your tomb, dude. It's really your tomb, right? You know, but I think the thing that I love about that battle is the ways in which it showcases, and especially Netero, right? Netero is such a phenomenal character because you can't pin him down, right? Like you can try and you can sort of say, oh, well, this is clearly what Netero represents, but it's like Netero's always moving around. Like he doesn't do anything particularly in a straight line, right? Like he doesn't generally do that unless he like really wants to do it. And even then he doesn't. You know what I mean? Like if he really wanted to kill Meterum, he could have just stopped his heart and had the bomb explode not at the very beginning, but like a little bit into the battle. But he took his time with that. He took his time with that, and you know what I mean. So yeah, you know. But I think that the thing that I love about it is that like Netero is sort of like very much a representation of just that the incredible, like almost infinite sort of spectrum that humanity is. And he says that about humanity and the infinite potential that humanity has. And of course, it's apt that Netero says that, because Netero was such a great representation of that. He's like. We never get a sort of hard line into what kind of person he is. Even Jing and Paddington don't really like they think they understand, you know, Netero, but really they don't. They understand that they don't understand Netero, right? They understand that like they're like Netero just likes to, you know, mess around. People that like to mess around, like they're very hard to pin down. You can't sort of say, oh, that's just their character. This is what they are. Like, no, it's like there's a lot to that. There's a lot of nuance to that, a lot of complexity to that. And I love that. And like and I think the thing that I also loved about that battle was how much it showed like the sort of difference in the ways that humans interact and the ants interact, right? In the ways that like, even though ants have this like really neat system, even though the Chimera ants have this really neat system in terms of saying like, okay, like all of these sort of like, you know, things that they learn and things that they can do, right? allow them to sort of allow particular individuals within their colonies to grow and to move forward and to pass certain things on. But in this sense, right, Metarum's the king of the ants. I mean, like this dude is just like I think he genuinely believes that he's like, yo, like it's just me now. Like I'm the king. Like I'm always gonna be the king. This is it, right? So it doesn't work like that in human world. It's not like, oh, this is where we are. This is the pinnacle, and we've stopped. And this is the thing, right? Like that, right? Like Merum doesn't really get that. It's like it's not about getting to this pinnacle, right? And Netero's like, I've reached this pinnacle, right? And he did that a long time ago. That's the thing, right? Netero's not doing this just now in this battle. He's not realizing this just now in this battle. He's realized that ages ago, decades ago, right? He's realized that like, no, limits are like to think in terms of limits is an issue, you know, and humanity is all about, you know, pushing through those limits and everything like that. And he's like, Meterum doesn't get it. That's why he's a baby, you know? So I really love that. I thought that was like phenomenally done, you know, that like Netero really is like, it has so much more experience, and like and Togashi consistently shows this in simpler ways, right? And just saying that like this one move that Netero worked on must have taken him years or whatever, something like that. You know, like so much time just working on that one thing. And like Meterum, he was just born. You know what I mean? He was just born. What was he working on for that long? You know, what has he done to say to be like, man, what is my limit, right? Because like Meterum, I think like genuinely is like, right, he's not thinking about limits in terms of like the ants and where they can go and everything like that, but he's thinking about his own particular limits, and he gets a little bit selfish in that way. But also in that way, like he's learning a bit about what humanity means, and that's cool, right? But he's so far behind. He's so far behind. The battle does so many great things. I think there's so much to talk about. You could talk about that battle for forever, I believe. Let me see what's going on with the chat. Because I could talk about Meterum versus Netero all day. All day. You know, do you agree that a manga writer should be well informed on subjects such as politics and psychological, etc., like Togashi is? Not every manga writer. I think like, let's say like if I'm talking about like should people be well informed? Yeah, I think so. Generally, yeah. Especially like if you're somewhat close to being an adult, or if you're already an adult, like right, like if you're around like 18, 14, 15, whatever. Like, yeah, you should try to be as well informed as you possibly can, just because I think it helps you move through life a bit easier. It helps you understand particular things. It helps you make better decisions. You know what I mean? Helps you formulate better plans for your future. You know, so I think that it helps you with interactions with other people. So I think that in that general sense, yeah, I think generally people should be well informed and better informed. But I think for manga writers, it depends on their work. You know, like sometimes like it's definitely extremely helpful. Like if you're writing like if you're writing like a children's manga like Doraemon or something like that, then it's like, yeah, it helps to be well informed about particular things, you know, like children and how they think and what they like and what they're interested in and their tastes and stuff like that at any given time, you know. But like when it comes to like the atomic bomb, I'm like, not really. I mean, like, it's not something that you really need to be super informed about for that work, right? So that's kind of how I feel about that. But I think that, like, you know, when it comes to like the type of stuff like shonen manga, seinen manga, josei manga, even shoujo manga, like I think you should be pretty well informed about particular things, and because it allows you to push a bit further in terms of like the way that you're constructing your characters, their thought processes, the decisions that they make, their interactions with other characters. It helps. It helps a lot. And you can tell, like, you can see like when there's like certain, like, you know, I think generally mangaka are actually pretty well informed. You know, and generally authors usually are, because like rarely like, at least like in terms of stuff that's like published, like are those authors not particularly well informed necessarily about certain things? They might be, you know, woefully ignorant about other things, but they might be extremely knowledgeable when it comes to other things. So that's kind of how I feel about that. But I think like if you're writing like especially like seinen josei manga, like I think you have to. I think it's extremely helpful. I think you should. And if you're not, it's kind of like I don't know. I don't know. You know, I don't know how seriously I can take like certain types of work and things of that nature. You know, that's kind of how I feel about it. Yeah, we got to talk about what's going on in the manga. We got to talk about that. We got to talk about that. Let me see what else. Like, which one is? Oh, so me. Are you watching a little anime or do you read manga only? I would say right now I'm pretty much reading mainly manga, just because like in terms of like a schedule and my YouTube schedule and stuff like that. It's just easier for me. Like, and just because like I'm a reader, I like read a lot. Right, not just like manga, but like books, stuff like that, criticism, whatever. You know, so I read a lot, so it's like easier for me to do that quickly. You know, or just like sort of process certain things in a particular way and do that in a shorter sort of time span. With anime, you it's really difficult to skip. You know, like that's not to say that I do that with manga. I'm just saying that like because it's difficult to skip in the anime that you're reading and that you're watching, right? You have to sit there for that entire like 23 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever, however much time that anime is taking up, right? And that's just an episode. With manga, it might take you might be able to go through three or four chapters, you know, like depending on what you're reading in that time span. So for me, it's just like it's more so of a like time thing and a efficiency kind of thing for me in terms of my life, in terms of like a lot of the stuff that I do, you know, because like I work 3 jobs, so it's like boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? It's like I don't have a lot of time, right? I work 3 jobs. I have my fiance, my cats, well, our cats, you know what I mean? Other friends, people that I talk to. So it's like it's you got to really figure out what makes sense in terms of time. Anime doesn't make a lot of sense in terms of time for me because I want to read as many stories as possible. I want to be exposed to as many stories as possible, as many ideas as possible, as many characters as possible. And manga is a bit easier for me to get you know, to sort of achieve that goal. So that's what I generally do. So like anime, like unless it's like something that I definitively have to watch, I think more later on I have to. You know, manga is incredible. You know, and I think in some ways manga has to, like, the writing has to be there, right? When it comes to like some anime that I might like have watched, something like that, the writing might not be there. It might not be as refined or thought through or well researched or whatever, you know, or the emotions might not come through in the same way, you know, because like they might depend too much on like the visual sort of storytelling, which is cool, but I think that doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice the oral and what you call it, the oral sort of storytelling. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I feel about that. I just think manga has to make sure that the art is fantastic as it is standing still, right? And that the writing has to be extremely compelling. Because if the writing in a manga isn't particularly compelling, it falls flat. You know, it's just like as a manga, it will just fall flat. That's it, like game over. You know, and I've seen that. I've read manga where I'm just like, nah, it's a no for me, dog. Like I just seen manga where it's just like, nah. You know what I mean? That's just how I feel about it. That's just like, yo, Brago, what is up? What is up? What is up? You know, but like, yo, there's just so many you know, there's just so many things. And you know what I might do? What I might do is I might have like, I mean, uh, you might switch. Yo, it's just like, thanks a lot, Brock. Thank you. Yo, it means a lot. You know, but it's like if you like with me, I just love manga more than I love anime. I think that's what it is, and I think part of it is because like even though I was introduced to anime first, like I've always had a love of like books. I've always had a love of books, reading, all that stuff. So manga was like it just made sense. like a really core sort of level, emotional level. It just made sense for me to go to manga and be like, yo, I just want to keep reading. You know, that's kind of how I feel about it. But we can move on to the wait. Were those the same lands? What are your thoughts on Beyond? So I can talk about that very relatively quickly, and then we can move into sort of like, you know, and that's a great sort of transition into talking about the stuff that's going on in the manga now and everything like that, because that stuff is, whoo, you know, yeah, and there's just so many more options with manga. I think, so many different things. You know, like there's so many ways you can go in terms of like the LGBTQ stuff that's going on with manga, all like the fantastic stuff, right? Like, ain't no anime for my lesbian experience with loneliness. Ain't no anime for my brother's husband. Ain't no anime for those texts. You know what I mean? So it's like sometimes like you gotta go with the manga because you will miss the story in that sense. What are your thoughts about me? Beyond Solace, you cool. If we're talking about Beyond is such an interesting character because I think like, right, like it's like, yes, he reminds you of Netero in certain ways, but in a lot of ways, like, you know that with Tagashi, like he's not going to be like a clone of Netero. Like there's certain things that he can do, and like they're clear distinctions in terms of like the connections, right? There are clear connections between Beyond and Netero, right? Obviously, like there's the blood connection, but there's all the other stuff, the way he's able to balance certain things flawlessly, you know, stuff like that. The way that he approaches questions, the way that he's just kind of chill about everything, and he's like, I think it'll work out or whatever. You know what I mean? Like those are very like Netero ways of dealing with things and starting things. You know, so for me, like Beyond is such an interesting character because like I genuinely don't know how he'll approach certain instances and certain confrontations and stuff like that. I don't know if he even wants to fight anybody. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't think so. You know, I don't think he believes that he's the strongest hunter, or like he believes he's the strongest Nen user out there. You know what I mean? I don't think so. You know, so like for me, I feel like I'm really interested in seeing, in the same way that I'm interested in seeing Jing make moves with this dark continent stuff. I'm really invested in Beyond's sort of plot line. I want to see the things. I want to see what he's going to do. I want to see the decisions that he's going to make. Why make those decisions? You know what I mean? Like, and with Jing, like, you know, like Jing just wants to have a good time, and I feel like Beyond also just wants to have a good time, right? So in some ways, Jing and Beyond might really get along, and right, like I feel like Jing and Beyond might really get along, you know. But at the same time, they might also have this one little thing that they're just like, no, we got to fight now. We got to throw the hands. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I feel about that. I'm really, really invested in seeing like also like Beyond's like just like Nen abilities, like what's his like. Of course, you know you always want to see a Nen use his Hatsu. You always want to see that. I think like that's like I never heard anybody read or watch Hunter x Hunter was like, you know what, I don't really care about that person's Hatsu. Like what? You always want to see the Hatsu. You always want to see the Hatsu. You always want to see the move. You always want to see the special move. But I think like I'm gonna be really interested in like seeing how Beyond deals with negotiations in terms of certain things, like how he talks to like other parties. That's gonna be super dope because I think that like Netero is someone who isn't necessarily even particularly interested in stuff like that. He's just kind of like, yo, I just want to make moves. I just want to do what I want to do. And I don't think that Netero is like a master at like negotiation or anything like that. Nintendo is just like, I just want to do my thing. And if negotiating in some certain way helps me get to this particular thing, then okay. If it doesn't, I'm not interested. But I think Beyond is like really just a fun dude who wants to talk with people, get to know people. Like, I think he's very similar to Jing in a lot of ways. I really do. I'm looking forward to seeing their interaction, how they make those moves. Because I think, again, they're two people that like extremely similar. That's kind of how I feel about Beyond. I'm looking forward to his Hatsu too. I don't know what his Hatsu is going to be. I don't think it's going to be the same thing as like Netero. That'd be kind of like, that'd be corny. I don't think Tagashi is going to do that. You know what I mean? But I do think that his Hatsu, don't know. I generally don't know what his Hatsu is gonna be. I really don't. But I'm really interested to see because I don't know, right? Because I can't predict it. You know, with certain characters, you can always predict like, oh, this character is probably gonna do like some fire move or some ice move, some wind move. You know, that this character is probably gonna be a brawler. You know what I mean? You can predict certain things, but like with Beyond, I'm not sure. You know, with Jing, I mean, like, is it really? Is it like is his Hatsu the ability to copy like punching techniques? I doubt it. You know, I think there's like a lot more like to Jing than that. You know, I don't know. Like he's just like, I don't know. But you know, I like, yeah, yo, Tsunami, what is up? You know, but I believe in I believe in Tagashi because he's proven time and time again that he's phenomenal when it comes to certain things. You know, and I like again, I'm really looking forward like to seeing the moves that Beyond makes during this arc. You know, I can't remember if I can't remember if Beyond is on the ship. I believe he is. I believe Beyond is on the ship. But you know, have you heard the theory that Pariston is Sheila, the woman who Kudapika met when he was a kid that gave him the book? That'd be dope. That'd be super dope. Um, like really, dude, like that far back, like that far back, that'd be incredibly dope. Patterson just making moves, man. I mean, not like in the way that like, oh, Patterson knew who this person who Kudapika was, and he was like, oh, I'm gonna use him in this arc, da da da. Like, no, like nothing that ridiculous. But I do think that like it's interesting to see that like like Patterson is not just a character that we met in the chairman election arc and that we've seen a little bit of in this arc, and that like he has like a history. That's what I want to see. I want to see more of that. I want to see more. I want to learn more about Patterson's past. What happened there? Who's he met? Who's he talked to? What moves has he made? And we know a little bit about the stuff that he's done as sort of the vice chairman and things that he's and decisions that he's made. You know, like I mean, dude is intense. Dude is a shady individual. You know, and that's sort of putting it lightly. Pulling it lightly that he's a shady individual, but Patterson's super shady. Super shady. All right. All right, so let's talk about what happened in terms of the manga recently. I mean, do you, like the fire? The fire that we got though, the fire that we've gotten though, like I can't, y'all. I can't. Where should we start? That's a good question. Like, where should we start in terms of like talking about that? I guess what we could talk about is the what am I most? Oh, there was who was it? I guess we could talk. Like one thing I'm really invested in is like the ways in which like all of these individuals have Nen abilities and are particularly great at Nen. That like is awesome. That is awesome. Like, so before I get to these other questions, I'm just gonna like talk a little bit about how I feel about the princes and their Nen abilities and the fact that they have some of them have Nen abilities and they clearly know how to use Nen, and some of them are just like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I know I have this Nen beast but I might know that I have this Nen beast that's moving around, making moves for me, you know, in certain instances. But like, I mean, some of these Nen abilities are incredible. And again, sometimes I'm looking at Tagashi and I'm like, why does this character have this ability? I don't really understand. But you know, and like I understand that like, you know, he'll use like a facet of the ability or he'll introduce a facet of the ability later on, kind of like what he did with Kaito with that ability with I can't remember all the names of like the Nen abilities, but Kaito's Nen ability. Let me look that up. Crazy slots. Duh. How did I forget that? Ugh. But crazy slots, right? Like when you went like that, like I'm kind of like it's neat, but it's like I don't know what that's doing in terms of like the storytelling and stuff like that. Like I guess like it means like, oh, he's resourceful, da da da. He had to be resourceful when he was a kid, everything like that. So I guess like that's kind of like the sort of metaphor that's there, but it's not like an amazing thing that's happening there or anything like that. It's like, okay, I see the connection. That's what I'm rolling with. All right. You know, and then like the whole thing where like he's still alive. I'm just like, just leave him dead. Why can't you leave him dead? Why can't you let him die? You know, stuff like that. Like that's kind of how I feel about it. I'm like, I don't know. That's when I'm like, Tagachi, yeah, I'm not feeling that. But you know, so like Tagachi is by no means perfect, but like I think he's done mostly incredible stuff. But when we think about the princes and the Nen abilities, I love the fact that like some of the princes are extremely proficient in Nen. That's what we want to see. I don't want to see princes bumbling around. I don't want to see princes bumbling around trying to figure things out, you know, in terms of Nen and stuff like that. Like not all of them, at least. I can understand if like we have sort of have a balance where some of them are trying to figure some stuff out. Some of them are also trying to figure some. Some of them are trying to figure out what's going on with all these superpowers and stuff, and some of them have already figured this stuff out. They already know. They already know what it is. So I love the fact that like I love their abilities, and their abilities say so much about them and who they are. Like Tagashi is phenomenal at that. And like Benjamin's ability is like, it's so good. It's such a great ability. It's such a like apt. It's so apt, and in a way that's like it's just too perfect. It's just too perfect of an ability to describe who Benjamin is as an individual, as a person, everything like that. I mean, like and right and like the way that it's like his ability allows him to take the abilities of individuals who are part of like his like particular like personal sort of like military force. Like that's so dope. Like it's such a dope ability in terms of its construction, because it's really apt. It's like, dude, like, yes, this dude is really all about the country and he's really patriotic and da 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 da, but he's also real selfish. Like he's a prince, like he's a wealthy individual. We don't forget that. We don't like this is not like let's not get it twisted. Like wealthy individuals oftentimes, especially if they're like generational wealth, like they maintain certain things. One of those things is having individuals like under like their service or whatever. I don't got a housekeeper. I don't have a maid. I don't have a nanny, a particular house cleaner, a chauffeur, or anything like that. But it's like this is something that like the wealthy do. This is something that this is a particular thing that is that Benjamin can do because of one, his skill set, but two, because of his wealth and his familial connections. Like them dudes are like, we will serve Benjamin to the death. You know what I mean? Like these dudes will serve him to the death, and then when they die, right? And they're Nen users. This is something that's really important. It's not they're not scrubs. These ain't scrubs, right? These aren't scrub soldiers. These are people that he's like, I would say personally training, personally probably like in some ways brainwashing, right? To say like, yo, you want to be proud? You want to be down? You want to be down with this crew? You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, yo, Benjamin is like, he's a dope character to me. And his Nen ability is dope because it encapsulates who he is. It's like, you ain't like, you know, you ain't trying to, like, you can't hide the fact that like this dude is a very proud individual. The whole star thing, it's a very patriotic thing. It's such a like almost like American thing. You know what I mean? I mean, that's not to say that like patriotism is a distinctly American thing, but I think like in terms of the like sort of the way that it's being portrayed and things of that nature, I think that like I don't know how like some other countries deal with particular things, but I do think that like the whole like stars and stripes forever kind of thing, you know what I mean? Like certain things that are particularly patriotic symbols. Stars are oftentimes a very patriotic symbol. If you look at all the flags in the world, you see a bunch of them have stars on it. You know what I mean? Like there are things that work here that Tagashi does that are very, very sharp and very deliberate. And I love that. Like Benjamin's one of my favorite characters, and that Nen ability is such a great, like that's when Tagashi's done his A game with writing the Nen abilities and constructing them. And in this particular arc, he's been on his A game with the Nen abilities. Prince Camilla, because right, Camilla has the Nen beast, right, that she has, and then she has this her own Nen ability, which is just ridiculous, you know? And it says something about like who Camilla is. Like again, it says something about who Camilla is as a person, the lengths that she's willing to go to, the sort of lackadaisical sort of attitude that she has about things, even about death, right? That's stuff that I love, right? It's like, oh, death ain't no thing. You know what I mean? Because if she dies, her Nen cat is gonna kill the person, is gonna kill the person who killed her, absorb their Nen, and then revive her with it. Like, come on, bro. There's too much. Let me see. Have you? When do you think? When do you think Gon will get his Nen back? Will his Nen category change? I don't think his Nen category will change. I think he's always going to be an enhancer. I just think that like that's too apt. It's too important to like how we sort of perceive his character and stuff like that. I don't think he'll ever be anything else. Maybe a specialist. The only other thing that I could see Gon being is a specialist. If not like if he were to change, it would be a specialist. If it's not a specialist, then then it would. I don't think it would be anything else. You know, I think he's gonna stay an enhancer. But what I do think will happen, what I do think will happen with Gon and his Nen is that he's gonna have to do a little bit of training again, because like he's not gonna be at the same level that he was when he right before he lost his Nen. Like he's gonna have to do a little bit of training. He's gonna have to dig deep. He's gonna have to do some stuff, and he might have to train with Bisky again, or whomever, or maybe even Kaito. We don't know. He's gonna have to train with somebody. So that's kind of how I feel that's gonna happen. But I think he'll still have the same thing. The same things that he's gonna have. He's still gonna have his Jajan-ken. He's still gonna have the enhancer abilities. I don't think that stuff will change. I just think he's gonna have to do some training. I don't think it's gonna be at the same level. He might have to, he might be out the story for a while to get back to the level that he was at. But I think he'll be able to do it a lot faster because, maybe just like muscle memory and stuff like that, in terms of like using Nen and everything. He might, he'll just have to increase the amount of aura that he has, more than anything. That's what I feel like is going to happen. So he's going to be at the story for a while, and that's fine because he needs that time. He'll need that time. He might have a plan to use him in the future, I guess. Yeah, like in the future. He might have a plan to use Kaito in the future. Kaito might be the one that trains going back up to where he needs to be. He might go on a journey with Gon to do something or whatever. I don't know. So there'll be something. But I'm glad that Gon is out of the story right now because like I love Gon. I really do. But I like to see other characters get their shine, get their due. And this is a story that's not it's not solely about Gon. It's not. Right? Like it's about hunters. It's a story about hunters. Gon is a hunter. Killua is a hunter. Kurapika is a hunter. Leorio is a hunter. All these other people are hunters. And yeah, we haven't seen like I think we will. Like I don't even think that we saw the full extent necessarily of that ability because I feel like his paper could be stronger. His scissors could be stronger. So I think that like even then like he might be able to do more with that ability. It might not stay Jan Ken. It might change. He might add some things to it. It might not just be rock paper scissors. He might add another thing to it or something like that. He might just to make it more versatile. Add another kind of like sort of type of ability or something. I don't know. Yeah, some of them do. Some of them, I will say, some of them kind of feel like cannon fodder. But I think that like right now, like there are more of them that feel like legit characters that have their motives and they're making moves than I think there are cannon fodder. Some of them have to be because like some of them don't want to do anything. Some of them don't even want to be a part of this succession arc. They just trying to chill. They just trying to chill. So a lot of them are just kind of like, yo, I don't even want to be here, man. Like look at Fugetsu. She's just like I just want to leave. You know what I mean? Like it's like get me out of here. So stuff like that I think is necessary because it's like not every prince needs to have the same it has to be at the same level of ambition or even have the same types of ambitions or anything like that. That's why I think like some of them might seem like cannon fodder, but but sometimes I think sometimes it's very deliberate. Like it's very deliberate that some of them are cannon fodder because when I don't think they're cannon fodder, I just think that like they're not a Benjamin, they're not a Camilla, they're not a Seddon. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but the fourth prince, right? They're not the fourth prince. I just call them Sayer. They're not a Sayer. You know what I mean? They're not a Zhang you know what I mean? Something like that. They're not those princes, you know? So in that sense, like that, and that's okay. That's okay. Because there are a lot of people like that. There are a lot of people who like royalty, but aren't particularly like, you know, interested in doing particular things. Like there are a lot of people who are royalty that do a lot of like philanthropic work or something like that. Like, and that's what they want to do. They don't really want to like deal with the other stuff that like, you know, maybe like the heir to the throne is dealing with, something like that. You know, so I think that's why, like, to me, it's fine. To me, it's fine that they're like, you know, kind of whatever. You know, to me, the only important ones are first prince, second prince, fourth prince, ninth prince, and prince one. Nah. All the other ones are particularly important. Like they're all important in their different ways, right? Like Prince Hulkenberg is particularly important. Right, because even though he doesn't necessarily want to do much in terms of pushing through the succession arc, he'd like to be like he's someone that's like distinctly trying to like not even necessarily like get out of it, but I think like the people that follow him, he wants to make sure that he protects them and that they're okay and then everything like that. Like he's thinking differently. And then when you think about like Fugetsu, it's just like I gotta go. But notice how Fugetsu has an ability that allows her to move around the ship, like an actual like ability that allows her to move around the ship, to do certain things, and that she's now interacting with the Zodiacs, right? Like that's huge. You know what I mean? So stuff like that is really, really important. It's really important to how the story is told, how certain moves are going to be made. If certain people find out about these particular abilities, you know what I mean? Like Fugetsu has this ability. People might be like, "Yo, Fugetsu, you want to tag team up?" Like people would love the ability that Fugetsu has. They would love to use that ability. Other princes and their guards and everything like that. So it's like stuff like that. It's like they're just not safe. Kurapika. I'm gonna get to Kurapika. Morena Prude is the person with like the sort of like the way I sort of see the ability is kind of like her Hatsu, right? Etude of love will 100% get stronger through death. Her existence is one that wants to see the world burn. The ship is in serious danger. Oh yeah, I mean like Morena's ability is very similar to like and the way that I kind of see it is very similar to like a small kind of like pyramid scheme, right? Whenever you see like the way like pyramid schemes work, they're really they seem real, like right, like whenever like if you've ever talked to somebody, and at some point in your life you will, because they will find you. If you've ever talked to somebody who wants to sell you on a pyramid scheme, like they will try to be the most charming people you will ever meet. Every time. They will always try to be the most charming people you will ever meet. This is what I've noticed. They will be like, "Oh, you know, you can make so much money. You'll be part of a team. You know, you'll move up. You'll have other people move up. When other people succeed, you succeed." You know what I mean? But really, like what they're trying to do is to like get more and more people under their belt so that they in turn can become stronger. You know what I mean? So for whatever goals it is that they have, right? So I mean, like this is like one of those things, right? Where it's like, yes, like clearly the people under Miranda's Prude's like sort of ability, like they do get stronger, but it's not just like Miranda's like, "Oh, I just want people to get stronger." Like, nah. There's always like some other like stuff like to that ability. You know what I mean? Like it's never just like, "Oh, I'm gonna get stronger. This is it." Like it's like pyramid schemes are inherently dangerous things. They're inherently harmful things. And this is why, in this instance, Miranda's like sort of ability like can only lead to either death or destruction or carnage or whatever. Because generally, the people that she attracts with her abilities are serial killers or people that weren't serial killers before but now are serial killers. You know what I mean? Like she's legit either she attracts she both attracts and breeds serial killers, right? Like, I mean, just straight murderers. So this is an ability that, like, right? It's like, it sounds cool. I'm gonna get an ability, da 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 da. But it's like, look at all the death that has to happen. Look at all the pain that has to happen. Look at all the sadness, sorry, whatever you want to call it, desolation that has to happen in order for these individuals to get the ability that they want, and for Miranda to get to reach her goal. You know what I mean? Like, pyramid schemes work in a very similar way. It's like, yes, maybe someone on top will be particular. Those people that are on the sort of tippy top will be successful. But when you go down the levels, really what you tend to see are people that are fighting tooth and nail just to survive, just to make sure that they maintain their own semblances of success. You know? It's just like, man. Um oh, Hal Hulkenberg. Okay, okay, cool. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think like there's gonna be more people. I think there's gonna be more princes that get screen time because it seems like Tagashi's developing certain things. Like, he's developed like certain abilities. Just seem like they need a bit of time to kind of bloom in terms of their like uh uh sort of arc significance. So I think, to me, I'm just kind of waiting that out because I know this is going to be an extremely long arc. That's not even like an issue for me. I just know that, like, I know that's going to happen because when we first sort of got certain chapters, everybody was like, "Yo, there are too many princes." Some of them like kind of whatever. And now it's like, look at all these, look at some of these princes who are extremely important to the story and what's going on and everything like that. So I mean, like, I like that's one of the reasons why I trust Tagashi to develop these particular prints, to develop these princes, to make moves, to do all these things. Um, you know what I mean? It's like when you get caught in a pyramid scheme. I was never caught in a pyramid scheme, but someone did. Someone did try. He tried hard. He tried hard to get me in one of those, and I was just like, nah, I'm good. I went to one of those meetings, and I was like, nah. I just had the feeling in the pit of my stomach that I was like, this is not good. and then I gave him some like lip service to get out of there, and I never talked to him about that stuff again. I was just like, nah, I'm good, man. You know. Uh, but she's a great character. Shizuku. You talking about Shizuku? Shizuku, she's kind of destined for death. She's probably gonna die. Even though she's kind of chill, she's kind of cool, whatever. But like, she's what you would sort of consider to be like a character that's like, yeah, she's important to the way that the Phantom Troops deal, but there ain't enough there for me to be like, oh, she's so important. We gotta, sort of keep her alive, in certain things. I think that's why, like, the deaths of Kototopi and Shalnark were so devastating, but particularly Shalnark, because Shalnark was clearly like, he was making the moves for them. He was like they're like sort of tech guy in a way, right? And sort of setting up plans and things like that and making sure things ran smoothly. So Shalnark's death is like, that was pretty devastating. That's why when I saw that, right, that's why like he was stringed up. That's why he was stringed up like that. Kototopi got like, his head was kind of in there. He was holding the head in the lap and everything like that. But Shalnark got it bad. He got it real bad. That's how you know that kid's death is devastating. He was like main dude. But Shizuku, like, if she dies, I don't know. I mean, I know they're gonna be people who are gonna be like, no, but it's more of like a personal preference for the character than like her importance in terms of like the troop and stuff like that. They can always find another ability to, like, steal things with. They can always find a person who has like a spatial nen ability or whatever. So that's not. I don't think that's like particularly difficult for them. Yeah. But so for me, like, how do I think about Kurapika as a protagonist? Her. Again, I'm gonna go back to that sort of conversation that I had at the beginning of the stream, right? So for me, when I look at Kurapika, like, I think he's a cool character. He's been a cool character, but I think right now he's in like normally for any other character, death flags, man. Death flags everywhere. Just death flags. You know what I mean? If you look at a character like Kurapika, you'd be like, yo, why isn't he dead yet? Give me a sec. I'm just gonna eat some food. Gotta stay healthy, y'all. Got some tofu, we got some bok choy, some tomatoes, some brown rice. You know, gotta stay healthy. All right. But when I look at someone like Kurapika, I'm like, yo, why isn't he dead already? And I mean, and I guess when I said I'm like, you know, like he really should be dead. Like he should have been died. But right now I feel like it'd be like it would actually be great if he died. You know? Like I think it would be a great move by Tagashi if he was like Kurapika's headed down this path and this path does not lead to salvation. Right? We look at Sasuke. I'm like, Sasuke should have been dead too. Or at the very least, he should have been a character that was just this old blind dude like Madara, just sitting in his old man chair, talking to people about the good old days. You know what I mean? Back in my day. You know what I mean? Like that should have been Sasuke. Sasuke should have been old Madara. Should have been old Madara. You know? But you know, Sasuke was Sasuke. Sasuke was a extremely important character for Kishimoto for that story. He was the other protagonist. So Kishimoto is not a mangaka that I would believe that could like end Sasuke's life. I don't believe that. But I think Tagashi has it in him to say like, yo, like I have Gon, I have Killua, I have Hisoka, I have the Fan Troop, I have all these other characters. If Killua died, I think it'd be devastating, but I think it would be such a wonderful thing for the story in terms of the ripple effect. Like the ripple effect of that would be like massive. It'd be incredible. All the different things that would have to happen, you know, just based off his death, the people that it would affect. I mean, I would love to see that. I would love to see that. And part of right me is because Kurapika is not one of my favorite characters. Like, and that's just me, right? So a lot of this, like, some of this is coming from like, he's not one of my favorites. I'm not particularly interested in if he lives or dies in terms of seeing him make moves or whatever, you know, and just kind of being a character in the space that is Hunter x Hunter. But I think that like his death would hold so much meaning, like so much meaning. It would say so much about like how to write, like writing shonen manga, writing seinen manga. What you know, what can you do? What will fans accept? You know what I mean? I think that would be so interesting, so interesting, so interesting. And I think that his death would make some sense. Like not right now on the boat or anything like that, but I think that maybe on the Dark Continent or maybe when he returns from the Dark Continent, I think it would do a lot. And I think it would also do a lot like so like imagine if we ended Hunter x Hunter and we just like Kurapika died, did not get all the eyes back, you know, let his vengeance, his thirst for like vengeance take over and it killed him. And like that's just like, yo, that's a lesson. Like, cause you see that all the time. You see people that we know who are just like the vengeance, man, like the revenge, whatever you want to call it, it swallows them up, you know? So stuff like that would be really cool, I think, for the story, at least for me. But I know a lot of people love Kurapika, so I get it. So I get that they'd be like, nah, I'm good. You know, I don't know about that. You know, like I mean, yeah, I mean, like he should die. Nah, I'm not a vegetarian. I just eat healthy because like one thing I notice is that like when I don't eat healthy, I get really tired. Like you know, like for me, like one of my favorite meals, like if I order like, you know, like Chinese food or something like that, I would always, my go-to boneless spare ribs and pork fried rice, man. But now when I eat that, I'm like exhausted after eating it because it's just not a healthy thing to eat. Like it you know, so I'm always just trying to stay healthy. I'm not a vegetarian. I mean, I still eat chicken and everything like that. And another reason is like, you know, the diet like makes more sense. I wouldn't even say it's a diet. It's just like that's just the way that I eat now. But my fiance is also like, you know, she just had gallbladder surgery. So, you know, her diet is you know, so you know, her diet is like very like particular. I'm definitely eating more things than she is eating, but at the same time, like, you know, eating healthy is never a bad thing. And it keeps my energy up. It allows me to do stuff like this and to stay up and to keep my energy up, to get more things done. So, you know, to stay healthy, stuff like that. So it keeps me sharp, you know. But I think Tagashi's gonna kill Kurapika. I mean, for me, I think that's just where it's going. And I think it's one of those things where it's like going whatever it is that he's doing to Killua, whatever it is, right? They're all split up. Not all of them, but like most of them are split up. Leordio is around, but uh Gon and Killua, they're doing their own thing. When they hear that Kurapika died, it would be really interesting to see the ripple effect of that. What would they do? How would they react? You know, as opposed to Kurapika still alive. Let's see him do the vengeance thing. I'm like, I've seen enough characters do that. That's my thing. I'm just like that. Like that aspect doesn't interest me right now. Right? We see a lot of that stuff in York New. We've seen it. We've seen it. You know, so for me, it doesn't interest me much. I want to see him collect all the eyes. That'd be cool. That'd be dope if like he collected all the eyes and then died. You know, like it'd be like, oh, I finally finished it off. And then as like he collects the eyes, like all of a sudden, like, you know, something happens and he just dies. Or a little bit after that. You never know. You never know. Yo, Hikaru no Go? Are you kidding me? Yo, Hikaru no Go. I think I have like the first like 5 volumes of Hikaru no Go in my on one of my shelves. I'm gonna get all of them because that series was incredible. I don't want to like I don't know how many people have seen Hikaru no Go, but that is the feels, man. That's what I was talking about, right? Where a mangaka, like for me, what's like one really important thing is that a mangaka has to be able to write compelling relationships and compelling you know, storylines and stuff like that. You know, and especially when it comes to stuff where, you know, like I'm not, I wouldn't say I'm like a Go master or Go expert or anything like that, but like Hikaru no Go is like, yes, it's definitely about Go. Like Go is a really integral part of Hikaru no Go, but it's much more than that. You know what I mean? It transcends the game, you know, and manga, for me, have to do that. They have to transcend whatever it is the core sort of thing is, you know? I mean, Hikaru no Go is incredible. Yeah, they actually aged, yo. Akira, Toya Akira, Shindo Hikaru, yo. You know what I mean? Fujiwara no Sai. Come on, man. Fujiwara Sai, let's go. Toya Mejin. Kidding me? Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. You know what I mean? When that happened, bruh. Yo, I still can't watch those episodes like or read those chapters like that instance where like where you know what happened. When that happened, like I was legit heartbroken. Like I had to step away from the anime for like a good month. Like for a good month I couldn't watch it. I was like, no. I was done. I was devastated. I was legit devastated. Legit. And I couldn't watch those. It took so much. It still takes so much for me to watch those episodes now. I can't tell you when the next time will be when I watch those episodes. I can't tell you. But it was so well done. So well done. Oh, Karu no Go, man. Asumi's the GOAT, yo. Asumi's like he's got such a great story. Just the dog in nature, like just a dogged nature to be like, yo, I'm gonna do this thing. Ain't nobody gonna tell me I can't do this thing, but myself. You know what I mean? When Asumi was like, I don't know if I could do this. He was like, he wasn't doing it. When Asumi was like, yo, I got this. He got it. You know? Oh, dope. Same glass. It's a good glass. It's actually just like a jar. Like it's just like a jar, like we reuse. Like, if you have like a jar of like whatever, you just wash it out. Put it in a dishwasher. Take like just take a lot of hot water to it and scrape off like the glue and stuff and paper or whatever. You're good. But back to the Hunter x Hunter though. Hikaru no Go, I could have a stream about that. That might be something that I do a reread for at some point. Oh, what a phenomenal series. Hikaru no Go. I think that's one of those series that like I feel like it's really, I don't even know if it's underrated so much because it's like I feel like too many people, yeah, I think it's underrated because so many people don't talk about it and people don't bring it up. But it's awesome. It's amazing. Yeah, I feel like Leonardo would save Kurapika from that. Like he has some nan ability that he could use to like, maybe take out Kurapika's eyes or something like that, so that he couldn't use Emperor time anymore or something. You know what I mean? That would be interesting. But I don't even think it's like necessarily about the eyes. I think it's just like in his blood or whatever. I think like I feel like even if you took out the eyes, like Kurapika would probably still be able to use Emperor time. But I don't know. I don't know enough about it. Do you want to see more sports related things in Hunter x Hunter? Also, do you play any sports? I used to play a lot of football and soccer. Like I played a lot of soccer. I played a lot of soccer. I used to love soccer. Like my brothers were more like basketball people. I mean, I love watching basketball. I think basketball is incredible, but I never really got into it in the same way. But I really love soccer. I played a lot of soccer. Soccer was super fun. I still I don't play as much as I'm now as I used to. More so of a time thing and find people to play. Give me 1 sec. I just gotta get my cat to like stop meowing. Give me a sec. Give me a sec, everybody. Sorry, one of my cats is just meowing, being ridiculous. But I played a lot of soccer. When I was a little bit younger. I played with a lot of people. I used to go to like parks. Like it was grass, concrete, it didn't really matter. But I love soccer. I love soccer a lot. Let's see something. Yeah, but it's a good glass. It's a good glass. You know what I mean? You just wash out a jar. Let me see. Yeah. I would like sports related things. Like the dodgeball thing was super dope. Like there were a lot of cool things. Like Greed Island is a great arc. Greed Island is like I will say that I think that like Greed Island works. Like Greed Island is like Tagashi, just being like just writing what he wants to write. Thinking about all this stuff and really putting it down into a great arc. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorite arcs, but I think it like in terms of like I feel like the anime is it's a definitely like a very anime like arc. Like it's an arc that works very well in the anime. But I think for manga, it's good, but it's not great. But I think for the anime, it works extremely well. What else? Yeah, like with Naruto, I'm like, yo, some of those characters could have been dead, But like the feel of Naruto isn't that, you know what I mean? Like once Lee recovered from that devastating injury, I was like, Naruto ain't doing nothing crazy. I already knew that, right? Like the whole thing with Neji dying, I was like, that sucks, but that wasn't like super devastating to me. I was just like, why? I was like, why do this now? Why do it at all? Why Neji? You know what I mean? It's like, yeah. Like I didn't understand that. You could have killed 1010. You could have killed Choji. You could have killed anybody else. You could have killed Guy. You could have killed Kakashi. One of the Kage. You could have did some whatever. But Neji, I'm like, why? Why do that? It's just weird. It didn't make a lot of sense. Okay, you said I feel like Light broke down after Neon lost her ability and may have abused her to death. Maybe Neon killed herself. I like the idea that Hisoka killed her, but I don't think that he did. Yeah, I mean, I feel like some people were like, Hisoka probably killed her to take away the ability from Frollo, which makes a lot of sense. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think like I think that would be like objectively that's like a dope thing to do. It's like, yeah, like I know you took the ability from this person, so let me go kill that person. Yeah, that's something that I like. If I'm Hisoka, I would definitely go do that. I would definitely go do that. So I think that's probably what happened. But could have just been that Neon died because of another rival mafia family or whatever. There are a whole bunch of things that could have happened. But I think the most important thing to know is that she's dead. Her ability is gone. Cruella cannot tell the future like that anymore. So sucks to be Cruella in that sense. Oh, that's weird. I don't know what that is about the dislikes. That's weird. Um, I'm not worried about that though. Like to me, like it doesn't like likes or dislikes, especially when it comes to like stuff like this. Like I generally am not concerned because like stuff like that happens and stuff like that happens. It's kind of a whatever thing. People are always gonna do something. There's always gonna be some weird thing. But that just means that I made it. You know what I mean? That just means that like I'm at a place where people feel like I have enough clout or something that like they're gonna waste my time. They're gonna waste their time giving me dislikes. You know what I mean? It's just weird. You know, like log. Yeah, I mean, I don't know who it is, but it doesn't really matter to me. It's cool. It's cool. Um, but that guy that he stole Sun and Moon from is dead, right? If he killed Neon, then it might not delete it from his book. Well, I mean, I think that the thing with that is that might have been like I mean, like that I think that just says something about the person that Crollo stole Sun and Moon from, right? And in the sort of will and stuff like that. I don't know if Neon is like that kind of person where like like she could like her will would like keep her uh fortune sort of telling ability in that book. I mean, like I think if it happened twice, I'd be like, I don't know, Tagashi, you gotta chill with that. You gotta chill with that because that's where you get into like meh writing territory where it's like I don't think that's really cool. Right? Like yeah, doesn't happen with all Nen abilities. It's like it's different. It's a different sort of thing. Yeah. For me, I'm like, yo, like for me, likes, dislikes, it doesn't matter. I mean, like I always get I, what was it? The one like some a lot of like my One Piece videos where I just talk about like issues that I had with the latest arc and stuff like that. Those got dislikes, but they got likes too. So it doesn't matter to me. It's like if I'd rather you just leave a comment if you're like, hey, I don't like this content because da 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 whatever. That's cool with me. I'd rather that. Dislikes, I'm like that seems like a waste of time to me. But it doesn't do much for me. So it's whatever. But what else did I want to talk about? Um uh oh, the fact that Illumi and that well, Illumi is a Phantom Troop member. So that's dope. I mean, what do we think about that? You know what I mean? Like, I think that what's really interesting about it, like now, is it almost seems like, well, it doesn't seem like it. Like I think like Tagashi just he's pushing. He's pushing for these like he's just like eliminating certain characters. He's like, yo, like this is how it's gotta go. Um I like that you know that certain troop members are gonna die. You just know it. He might eliminate the whole troop, but Crollo. Like he might do that. And if that's the case, then it's like it's unfortunate, but you just happen to walk into Hisoka. It's unfortunate. Let me see. Yeah, it's a possible. Like again, like it's a possible. Dribble Kenshin. Like it's a possibility that Neon's inability could stay. But like, I mean, now we know that like he doesn't have it. Like he just doesn't have the ability. You know what I mean? Like he can't do it. So I mean that's just it. You know? Let's see. What do you think the king is planning? He claims there will be one winner, but he had 13 coffins, so it seems he's planning to have them all die. Yeah, I mean, like this is one of those things, right? Where rarely do monarchs go out of the way to be like, I really want a successor. Like if monarchs could live forever, they would. You know what I mean? If they could live forever, they would. They wouldn't have children. They'd just be chilling. Like maybe they would have children, but like they never take over. They just perpetually be princes and princesses and whomever else and duchesses or whatever, or dukes, whatever, you know. So yeah, he did. He said like in what chapter was it? Like 376 or something like that. He said that he like because Shizuku wanted to ask in the end of the chapter Shizuku asked Crollo to read her fortune one more time, and he was like, I can't do that. It's not in my book anymore because Neon died. So it's like if there's only one king, like so when the successor decided the current king will die, I don't know. I don't think so. Like I feel like this is the thing, right? This is another like sort of critique on monarchy and what it means to have that kind of system in a story where like superpowers exist. You know what I mean? Like this, like very much so, like supernatural, like these supernatural occurrences. You know what I mean? So I think what's going to happen is that he's going to have as many of the princes die as possible, and he's probably going to end up killing off his successor, and he's going to take their life force and use it to maintain his own. So this whole succession like arc ceremony is really, I think for me, look at the king. Look at him. He's slovenly. He's he's all about decadence. All these things. Dude does not look like someone who's like, yeah, man, I really want someone to take over my spot. Like, nah. I think if this dude could live forever, he would, and I think that's what he's trying to do. To me, it looks like he's trying to like pick off as many of them as possible in this sort of like thing that looks legitimate, but really is just an excuse for him to absorb their aura and use that to maintain his own longevity. You know what I mean? I do think that Beyond will definitely break out. I mean, like if he didn't break out, it'd be weird. And the only reason he wouldn't break out is because he didn't want to. You know? You know what I mean? So yeah, I definitely believe that. He definitely will break out. That much to me is clear. But yeah, I mean, like, and the monkey, the monkey Joe Zodiac, I think his name is like Sayu or something like that. Can't remember. I should look that up. I think it's like Sayu. Let me look it up. Yeah, Sayu. Yeah. So like that's interesting. I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen with those. Like, I want to see more of that. And again, like, I want to see Togashi take these breaks, get that rest, take them good naps, come back with the heat. That's what I expect. It seems like to kill Phaeton, you have to wait until the right moment to kill him in one hit, because if you don't, Pain Packer Rising. So yeah, I agree. I feel like, you know, his ability is something that, like, if you don't, and this is kind of with all like the Phantom Troop, like most of the Phantom Troop members, like that are at least on the ship that we've seen, but particularly Finks, Nobunaga, and Phaeton, right? And probably Franklin too. Like, if you don't kill them in the right moment, they're gonna end your life. Like, they will. They just will. Oh, this is something I wanted to mention. I mentioned this in my reaction to 380. One thing I really, really appreciate about Togashi is, like, and other manga too, but like Togashi in particular, because, you know, we're talking about Hunter x Hunter, is the panel placement and the sort of purposeful way, like the way he does that purposefully. You know what I mean? Just really dope, really dope. I'm gonna talk about this after I answer Aura's question, because Aura says, like, if Kurapika had to choose between saving Wobble or getting revenge, what do you think he would choose? Also, do you think the fourth prince has Kurapika's friend's head Pyro? For the second question, I do. For the second question, I do think so. And I think what's great about it, right, is that it's like, with that, I think what would happen when it comes to Pyro, right, is you'd have like what Mizai was saying about Kurapika not being able to handle the Phantom Troop, like that information of the Phantom Troop being on the ship. Like, one, you'd have the Phantom Troop on the ship, then he's got to deal with this whole succession arc thing. Then he's got to deal with the fact that his a lot of the eyes that he wants are on the ship, and that his best friend's head is on the ship. You know what I mean? Like, oh my goodness, that would be so much. Like, Kurapika his head might actually explode. And if not that, then he's definitely having like a stroke or something. Something is happening to Kurapika where, like, he might just pass out. Like, like, all that information, he wouldn't be able to handle it, I don't think. So I'm looking forward to that. His head might explode, actually. But that's going to be super dope. I think so. It looks a lot like his friend's head. You know, and like and that might have been the first his friend Pyro might have been the first eyes that Sarah, the fourth prince, collected, and then he just, you know, kind of put eyes around them or whatever to do that. Yeah, it really is building up to be my favorite arc in Hunter x Hunter. Like so far, it is phenomenal. There's so many different things, and Togashi's just deftly sort of like handling them all. And what I love is that he's not rushing it. You know, he's not rushing it. He's not saying, like, okay, I have to deal with everything at the same time right now. It's like when he started this arc, he was like, okay, I got to introduce some of these things clearly, but slowly but surely, he's expanded the sort of mini story arcs of these characters, of the princes, and I like that. I like that he's done that slowly, that he's given himself the time to do that. That's really important. You know, if he didn't do that, I don't think the arc would be as good. You know what I mean? Like, it feel kind of like it feel chunky, like in like the sort of Chips Ahoy like chunk, like soft chunky cookies kind of way. It's like I don't like those. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, yeah, it's chunky, but it doesn't really work. You know, when you got like I don't know. That's like, I don't know why like I use that analogy, but like that's just not generally how I feel, right? It's like there would be a lot of like stuff going on at the same time, but it wouldn't be as like satisfying as it's been now, because we've got like slowly gotten to absorb all these different things. And I think in a lot of ways the hiatuses work, because we get bit of information, lot like, you know, large sort of like chunk of chapters, go to hiatus. We get the time to look through those things, talk about those things, have those discussions. Takashi comes back, more chapters. We get to react to them, talk about them a little bit. Then when Takashi goes on his break, on his hiatus, we have a lot of time to absorb this stuff. Really, really cool. You know, really dope. Yeah, it's right, exactly, like right, like he's exactly Danny Zoro. He is writing a chaotic mess extremely well. That's the thing, right? It's like there are people who will say that like they're great at like sort of like keeping like you know sort of like you know sort of being able to sort of like deal with like like a contradiction that is like organized chaos. But a lot of those people just are just messy, and they don't really know how to. They don't really know how to deal with chaos. They actually think they do, but they don't. And then there's like Tagashi, who's like really dealing with this stuff extremely well. He's like, it's all right. He's like, I'm going to develop this thing over here. Right? Even though I know that other people reading this stuff might think that I'm not doing enough with these characters, but it's like this is how he's decided to do it. You know what I mean? It's not about understanding or anything like that, because I think anybody that's reading Hunter x Hunter generally, you know, can understand like what's going on in these like arcs and stuff, you know. But I think that like, you know, you can't give equal time to every prince in the same chapters. You can't do it, right? You can't do it. So he doesn't, and I think that's smart. Let me see. What was it, Aura? You asked something. How do you think Wobble's Nen Beast will play in this arc? Will it help or hurt the situation? Let me look that up, because I can't remember which Wobble, Prince Wobble. What does the Nen Beast look like again? I know I remember it. Nen Beast. Look that up. Oh yeah, parasitic type. All right. She received an egg from which a guardian spirit beast, so it was hatched to protect her. The guardian spirit beast is subject to 2 rule-like instincts. Blah 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 blah. But I mean, it's a parasitic type nen beast. I had to look that up. Let me see if somebody else has it up. Guardian spirit beast. Let's see. Okay, so we don't know. I don't know. I mean, we do. I guess we do know that it is parasitic. I think. So yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. That'll be interesting. It might be. I mean, it is parasitic. So, but it might also be like. I don't know if it'll be extremely dangerous or not. I mean, I think because it's parasitic, it can be, but I don't know. I don't necessarily know that it will. I don't know. I got to think about it. Slipper. I don't know. I got to think about that. I mean, I do think that it will come into play, and it might come into play right when one of the princes, probably a higher ranked prince, like from like 1 to it's like 1 to like 6 or something like that. You know, might try to do something like stupid and like legit try to assassinate Wobble, and then the Nen Beast like activates. Kurapika might save Wobble, and that assassination fails, but the parasitic Nen Beast does its thing, and then as the story goes along, like the prince is like slowly dying or whatever. You know, I mean, but I don't, yeah, but I mean, I'm pretty sure that Nen Beast, right? I'm pretty sure that Nen Beast can Let me make sure I know what the rule is. I'm pretty sure Nen beasts can attack other princes. Oh, okay. Okay. No, it can't. Yeah. So guardian spirit beasts do not fight and kill one another. And guardian spirit beasts do not attack another human whom a guardian spirit beast is protecting. Yeah, so I feel like the spirit beast might like attack like a bodyguard that tries to assassinate one of the princes, like a high ranking one or something like that. But it'll do it like slowly in terms of a parasitic then. Like it might feed off of uh the aura of like one of the bodyguards, something like that, and then feed that to Wobble or something. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just like, throwing stuff out there. I'm really not sure. I don't know. But I do think it might be like, it might be an enemy that like sort of protects Wobble like a mother would protect its like uh baby or whatever. Right? Like they can't, you know? Right? Like yeah, like they feed off the host are, right? So like what like right? So like it would be a parasitic Nen beast that feeds off of the aura of others, right? And like it'd be like a cyclical kind of thing that happens where like it would it would like the Nen beast would feed off of others, feed that aura to Wobble, and it would just be this weird circle where it's just like it you know what I mean? You get what I'm saying? Kind of like that. And then when Wobble like absorbs that aura and stuff like that, the Nen beast would then like like the Nen beast would replace the aura that it's taking from Wobble, basically. I guess in that sense. Now that's how I feel like that might work. Yeah, my favorite characters in Hunter x Hunter. Nah, I haven't answered this yet. Let me see. Let me get back to let me see what Aura said about. Also, I believe Theta said she was planning to kill the fourth prince when she teaches him Zetsu. So his Nen beast will disappear and he won't be able to use Nen. How do you think that would play out? Yeah, yeah. I don't think that'll play out well at all for Theta. I mean, there's a reason why there's a hashtag that says pray for Theta. Because like she gonna die. I don't think she's gonna survive. I'm pretty sure she'll die. I'm pretty positive. Like she's gonna die. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Theta, you cool, but you probably gonna die. You know what I mean? Give me one second. I'm gonna be right back because you asked Dribble Kenshin asked who are your favorite characters in Hunter x Hunter? I haven't answered this yet. Whoa. Oh, so one of my favorite, I mean, probably my favorite character, Hisoka is one of my favorite characters. I love I adore Hisoka. I do. I adore Hisoka. He's probably my favorite. I love Hisoka. I love Killua, of course, is awesome. I love Ikalgo is fantastic as a character. Ikalgo is just one of those characters that you just love, just warms your heart. I love Chitu. Chitu is great because like how much hate Chitu gets, but and of course it's warranted. But he's such a joke. Like, and I love that, like, right, like it's like he's a character that's written to like showcase like idiocy. Like Chitu. Yo, just thinking about Chitu makes me like burst out into laughter. You know what I mean? Like he's such a funny character. I love Chitu. Chitu is so funny. Just makes me laugh. And like Morel's just like, there's a reason why you lost this battle. It's because you're an idiot. Yo, like Chitu's actually a moron. I was like, man, I would love to see some more Chitu. And then he just got curbed. Like he got curb stomped, like legitimately curb stomped. Like Silva was playing no games. He was like, I'm done. But that's why I love him, because like he's such an idiot. And like he's so entertaining in that way. Like, and he's always just like bingo, bingo. Like he's just so ridiculous. He's such a ridiculous character, but he's super funny. But he's super funny. Everything about him is just like really funny. Like, and then like like when he makes his second ability, and it's so useless. And he's like, yo, look at this ability that I made. And Morel's just like, yo, that ability is so dumb. I love it. I love it. Morel just like kept clowning him that whole battle. Everybody just kept clowning him. Chitu's one of my favorites. I love Chitu. Morel is another one. I love Morel. Morel's one of my favorite characters. Like if I had to pick like characters that I adore, like Yopi as well. I love Yopi. Yopi, Morel, Hisoka, Chitu. Bisky is great. I love Bisky. Bisky is just like she's exactly what she needs to be. You know what I mean in that sense. But like she also like she's got like a bit of depth too because like she could just be like, oh, generally I'm deep down I'm a really nice person, but it's like not really. Like she's not a straightforward character outside of like the fact that like she generally comes back to train people, but right now she ain't training nobody. Well, no, she is training somebody. But what I mean by that is like, yes, she trains and that's the thing that she does, but she does other things. You know what I mean? She does other things, and it's dope. Whenever the Zodiac shows up, it's always hype. Yeah. My favorite royal guard is Yopi by far. A lot of people love Pito. I hate Pito. I get why people like Pito, but Pito pisses me off. I just don't like Pito. I don't. And Poof. Ugh. Get out of here, Poof. Get out of here. Poof is just Poof is garbage to me. Pito just makes me mad. And Yopi's cool. Yopi's really cool. Yopi's just like, I'm just trying to figure stuff out. And he tries to give people a chance, and then he's like, nah, I'm good. Y'all gotta die. Once he sees that the king is dead, it might be dead. He's like, no, y'all gotta die. You know what I mean? Like, nah. So Pito, I think I actually despise Pito more than Poof. I think Pito is the one that I hate the most. Is the one that I dislike. I just hate Pito. I just think the way that she makes moves and the way that she tries to like rationalize things and tries to act like, oh, I have this healing Nen ability. I'm like, dude, like the only person you're trying to heal is the king. You ain't trying to heal nobody else, really. Komugi, you don't even want to heal Komugi like that. The only reason you wanted to heal Komugi is because you wanted to please the king. Oh, I care about the king. I'm like, yeah, all y'all care about the king. You know what I mean? Like, I hate Poof though. I like Poof. I hate Poof, but I hate Pito more because I think Poof is just very clearly like a jerk, right? Poof is clearly just a jerk. Has no right, and like of course like but Poof is so exaggerated in his trying to lie, right? But he knows that like everything that he's doing is manipulation, right? Is being a manipulator. That's what he does, right? But Poof like tries to make these moves. Poof is like that person that's like, I think I'm a nice person. I think I think I'm pretty cool. But really he's like a manipulative like person, And it's just like, nah, you making them like that. And in some ways that's even more shady. Because it's like not only are you manipulative and not only are you trying to like make moves for not only self gain but for like for the gain of like the king, but you're trying to like it's almost like you're trying to convince us that everything that you're doing is like pure in some way, and I'm like, nah. We didn't forget that you were trying to figure out how strong you were and that you were basically playing with Kaito. and everything like that, and that you were messing around with Parko's brains. Like, we didn't forget that. I didn't forget that. So nah. Um, but Yopi is great because like his internal transformation is so wonderful to watch. You know what I mean? Like it's like he just slowly but surely almost develops like a a rivalry, a weird kind of like, you know, an appreciation for growth, you know? Like just like a legit appreciation for growth. I love that. You know what I mean? I think that's such an important thing because I think a lot of people don't have that. Like they don't appreciate like how far they come and they don't reflect. And Yopi is learning to reflect. And it's such a pure, like, it's just, it's so good. Yopi's awesome. I love Yopi. Um, Let me see something. Yeah, Leorio. I love Leorio. Leorio is one of my, like, if I had to pick top 5, Leorio would be in there. I love him. Which is why I'm so mad at Tagashi for Tagashi for not giving him that time. He needs to shine, man. Leorio needs that shine. I'm not talking about the election stuff because the election stuff was cool, but we need more than that. We need more than that. Our boy Leorio needs to shine. All right, he needs that shine. But yeah, I got some. There's some characters that I love. The Phantom Troop. I mean, I love to love him and I love to hate him. I love to love him and I love to hate him. Do you think we'll ever see Gyro? No, I don't. I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe, but I don't think so. Isn't he dead? Or no, he was reincarnated, I believe. Like, was he reincarnated as a Chimera ant? Yeah, he's still alive, right? Yeah, right. He was reincarnated sort of like as a Chimera ant. Right. Okay. Good. Good. Right? So, you know, yeah, like I'm just like and again, it's like I feel like Leorio got left behind by Tagashi, and it bothers me. It bothers me because I feel like Tagashi did such a phenomenal job dealing with 4 characters in Yu Yu Hakusho. Like there is not one of those characters that you could say that character wasn't developed very well. They didn't have no time to shine. Da 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 da. Like Yusuke, Urameshi, Hiei, Kurama, Kudabara. Come on, man. All 4 of those characters are gold level. So, I mean, I think Tagashi could do it, but I feel like what happened was he got a little too happy with Killua and Gon. You know what I mean? Like just a little bit. A little too happy talking, watching them grow and everything like that. And in some ways I understand because like they're young, they're like little kids, they're like 12, So I get it. But at the same time, I'm like, yo, Leorio needs his time to shine though. Like really, legitimately. It kind of bugs me, and I get it. Like he's kind of like a troll kind of character in some ways, Leorio, in terms of like his ability to use Nen. But like, look at him now. Now he can use Nen. He good, chilling. So I want to see more of Leorio. Yeah. Are you talking about Jin from Yu Yu Hakusho? Jin is dope. Jin was dope because if you're talking about Jin from Yu Yu Hakusho, Jin was dope. I love Jin. But I do understand. Like that's why I feel like the sort of like Three Kings arc for the for Yu Yu Hakusho could have been better. It could have been longer. It could have been a bit better fleshed out. I agree. Like I feel like certain characters didn't get like more time than they could have gotten, and that I think that bothered me a bit. But I think that it was still a good arc. It wasn't like an incredible arc, but it was still a good arc. It did some things that I really liked. That's how I feel about it. Do you think any of Kurapika's group will die? Hanzo might. Hanzo might. You don't know. But Hanzo and Basho, those two, I think they might. Those two are a little disposable right now because now it's like, oh, Hanzo has a Kage Bunshin ability. I'm like, yo, I wanted to see more than that. I'm just like, come on, Hanzo, you got to have more abilities than that. You better have some straight jutsus. You know what I mean? That can't be the only one that you got. I want to see more than that. I'll be right back, y'all. I'll be right back. All right, we are back, y'all. We are back. All right, all right, all right. Let's go. Let's go. Um, yeah. These messages. Yo, Hanzo is also looking for the scrolls, which may be in the Dark Continent. Yeah, I mean, like like he. I don't think any of them are gonna die on this ship, but Hanzo better find his original body though. He better do that in a quick, fast, and in a hurry. You know what I mean? Like, but that's what I love about it, right? It's like, yes, we learn about his abilities very quickly, but then almost as quickly, like he's put in this like really, crucial danger. So, and Melody, yo, Melody getting that shine. Melody's another one of the characters that I really like. I really like Melody, um, right? Because it's just like it ain't always about power. Boom, 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 boom. It's not always about that. Ain't always about that. Um, but yeah, right. Like I think they all have goals, and I think the Sonata of Darkness, the scrolls that Hanzo was looking that Melody's looking for, the scrolls that Hanzo was looking for, like those are probably somewhere around the Dark Continent. So that'll be interesting. But I feel like Hanzo like still has he might have a death flag on him. Basho definitely def. Oh, Hanzo already returned to his body. Okay, okay, okay. Oh yeah. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, you know. Um, yeah, I wasn't a super fan of Melody in the 99 version. But I think the 2011 version does a really great job with Melody. A really great job with Melody. Voice acting is on point. The music choices are wonderful. Yeah, I don't believe I've seen Izanabe uh like much like in the latest like sort of chapters that we've gotten. Um, but Basho could die and like nobody would care. I don't think he could die with his bad haikus. You know what I mean? Like nobody would be like, oh no, Basho. Um, but Melody is a great character. I really like Melody. Um, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the stream here because it is 10:15 where I am. And I said there's still a couple of things that I need to do, or like around the house, and just make sure my fiance is all good and everything like that. But I think I'm gonna end the stream here. I'm gonna try to have more Hunter x Hunter, more of these streams when I can. I'm gonna try to set them up so that more people are in the sort of like not just in like the live chat, but like more people are like in like the hangout, so we can talk about certain things and like discuss certain things that we want to talk about. But I think generally I talked about a lot of the stuff that I wanted to talk about. And yeah. So sorry I like had to like go out, come right back and then be like, oh, okay, like, I'm gonna end the stream. But yeah, I think ending the stream here is a good place to stop. But I'm gonna try to do more of these because I think this was like a pretty like successful stream and like people had a great time. I had a phenomenal time. So I want to do more of them. I want to do more of them, and I'm gonna, try to figure out when, like, that might also be monthly, or bi-weekly. It might be a bi-weekly thing where I do like a Hunter x Hunter stream bi-weekly, and we talk about everything that's been happening, and maybe I'll do like a reread of the chapters at some point. Not on like on live or anything like that, but I'll like reread them on my own, and then come back and have these discussions and everything like that. But I thought it was a cool stream. Yeah. Now Brago's busy. I mean, Brago's super busy. You know what I mean? But I think that like, I think he still has that planned. So whenever that does happen, like, I mean, I'm gonna be in there. But I think like I just wanted to talk about Hunter x Hunter. And I knew other people wanted to. So I just like, let me just start up like a Hunter x Hunter stream. You know what I mean? Braga has a newborn daughter now. It's like, yo, like you got like whatever it is that you're doing whatever it is that you're doing, like all that, like that's over there, and you got to do what you got to do with, for your like family and stuff. So I totally get, Braga not being able to do the stream and everything like that. I get it. So that's why I wasn't about like, oh, Braga, why should you do the stream? I'm like, yo, like Braga got stuff to do. Braga's a fully grown adult. Like, fully grown adults generally have a lot of things that they need to, focus on. So I didn't mind that necessarily. But I was like, I wanted to talk about Hunter x Hunter. And I said, let me do a stream. So I'm gonna try to do more of these. I'm gonna try to get more people together. Again, if any of you ever want to hop into the stream and talk Hunter x Hunter and be a part of that, let me know. And I'll always send the Hangouts link in the live chat and stuff like that. And if you want to be a part of it and you want to be in the discussion, let me know, and I'll gladly do it. I think what I'm also going to try to do, I got to be better about the Discord that I have. I got to be much better about that. But again, like I'm also like usually really busy, so it's harder for me to like watch Discord. So what I might do is just set up Discord and like have other people like, sort of watch things and stuff like that. So I'll try to be better about that too. And I'll have like Hunter x Hunter discussions on a Discord, and I'll try to figure out how to get that set up in line with YouTube and everything. All right, so this was a Hunter x Hunter, or Hunter manga and anime discussion. All right, it says featuring a bunch of people, but like I'm gonna change it to featuring the live chat. I'm gonna change it to that because you guys were like MVPs. It was a dope conversation. I talked about a lot of the things that I wanted to talk about. It was super cool. Thank y'all for coming through. It was dope. All right, so I'm gonna see y'all later, and I was gonna end it. I'm the Black Manga Critic. Thank y'all for coming through, and I'm out.